Hello, beloveds. Welcome to February 2021. Here we are. Today is February 1st, 2021, and I have an astrology reading for you. Let's dive right in. So let's back up here a little bit. Let's start here. The most significant change that's happened today is that Venus has moved into Aquarius. Venus has moved into Aquarius, joining the Sun, Jupiter, and Saturn, and Mercury is retrograde, going backwards into Aquarius. So we've got a lot of Aquarian air energy, this shift into the Aquarian age within this 12-sign zodiacal system. And I do want to note that I'm going to go into the 13-sign astrology because I do believe that that has an interesting factor in all of this as well. For this system, however, you can see how strong the focus is here. All these planets all lined up together. Look at this beautiful V shape, which is kind of like an upside down chalice, right? We've got this strong square happening to Mars and Uranus and Taurus. This alignment happened a few days ago. Very powerful shift as well of the masculine Mars energy, the beginning energy of a revolutionary, evolutionary, deeper dive into the earth element, bringing all of what we've been working on for new earth into manifestation, grounding it down into Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. So there's this strong tension happening right now, pushing us into this revolutionary shift, pushing us into the co-creation of birthing this new earth energy, what we've been going through for a while now. But this is the actualization of it. This is the embodiment of it fully into the earth element. So we've got Pluto hanging back into Capricorn, but this square affecting all the way across the board here, all the way across the board, except for Mercury, hanging on at 26 degrees. But Mercury is retrograde, so it's moving backwards into this energy, coming back. Our mind, our intellect, our awareness of all of that coming back to review and take a look at, what does this all mean? Sun, Mercury, Saturn, Venus, all in Aquarius, ruled by Uranus. This is a strong shift of the goddess. This is the strong shift of Gaia. This is a call of the feminine, nurturing, embodying energy, taking roots in all of us, taking a deep look at what does it mean to be on this planet. The shifts that now President Biden has made, that people are speaking from multiple different perspectives on this. We're aware that our planet has been polluted by us. We have not been very good stewards. We have not been very good caretakers of the earth. We have not listened to and attuned to the ways that are the most beneficial for the planet and for ourselves. We simply have not. But we're learning. We're learning. And that's a good thing. Saturn is a taskmaster. Saturn is still taking us into the depths of what does this Jupiter expansion and our self empowerment embodiment of the sun, who are we here in this change, in this shift? What does humanity represent? And how can we bring in this feminine energy into the totality of this, into the ways that we can communicate with each other, with the earth, the way that people are communicating, even if they're disagreeing about what's happening right now politically, what's happening right now socially. Notice how the communication, there's this edge of the feminine, caring, nourishing, nurturing. People want to understand each other. People want to come together. People want to have unity and to have a greater heart coherence. But people also want to be heard. People also want to justify their own verbal perspectives, their own intellectual perspectives of what's going on. And that's okay. It's all right. It's all part of this beautiful process. So we also have this push, though, with the masculine energy, Mars and Uranus and Taurus, to act. It's time to act. It's time to change how we interact on this planet. There's a lot going on here locally. We have beautiful movement happening of unity coming together with the Machupta tribe, stepping forward in a very positive role of teaching us the traditional ecological knowledge. Ali Metter's night, check her out. She's stepped into a strong role with the federal and with the local authorities. We're learning to work together now to bring all of this knowledge and this awareness of how we work with the planet. We need to work with the planet better. We really do. Will she be okay without us? Yeah, sure. Will she make it? Are we going to kill her off? Probably not. We'll kill ourselves off before we do. But have we polluted the earth that we live on? Have we polluted our mother and our home? Yes. Have we forgot how to live with the earth? Are we learning better ways to live with the earth? Yes. Are we learning better ways to communicate and work with each other at a large scale, co-creative focus, which is Jupiter, Sagittarius, group co-creation, group fire energy, group awareness of how we integrate and work together. That's where our focus needs to be. So there's still a bit of this, though, Capricorn Plutonian energy happening in this strong square of the masculine, old, patriarchal, dominated energy. Clearing that out. Nothing against the masculine. The masculine is leading a revolutionary charge over here of the embodiment and the action. Masculine is showing up and communicating and doing so incredibly well and transforming and changing the structures of what it means to be a masculine energy, creating, co-creating on this earth. It's actually a really beautiful time. And so the more that we're able to come together in a peaceful, harmonious way, the more this is going to open up for all of us, and our changes and our shifts into what we're co-creating physically on this earth plane is going to just get stronger and more cohesive within this Aquarius and Uranus energy, brotherhood, sisterhood, coming together, unity. That's what all of this represents. Working together. Self-actualization within the whole totality of the Aquarian age, Aquarian energy of coming together in unity and synergy and harmony. So this beautiful, amazing trine energy today is happening with the moon in Libra, which is the balance, balancing out, showing this sense of the equality of our ability to take our judgment and turn it towards discernment, using our heart using the energy of the moon, using the feeling, using the empathy, using the compassion, using this feminine-led moon energy in a super positive way. Look at how supportive this whole fan of trine energy is between Libra and Aquarius right now. Beautiful, beautiful air spirit messages, the convergence of mind and heart, the mind turning back around retrograde to take a deeper look at all of this that's happening while it's in being supported by this strong, strong moon heart energy. Co-creation, balance, self and other, Libra's relationships. Libra is how we come together and acknowledge that there's two sides of the balance scales. There's two sides to look at. And when we do this in a compassionate and loving and nourishing and nurturing way, which is what the feminine Venus energy is encouraging us to do, then we can stop things like division between who's for Trump, who's for Biden. We have a woman in office for the first time ever in the United States, Kamala. She's the first, she may be vice president, but she is the first woman to be in a presidential position within the United States of America. This is huge. This is huge. This is the balancing out of the masculine and feminine energy. Still in being led by this masculine focus of Biden being president. Okay, but we have to recognize that this balance and this harmonization is happening. And I had this beautiful vision of Trump and Biden and both sides, Democrats and Republicans, actually honestly coming together. Rather than these scales of trying to pit against each other and the divide and conquer, and oh, Trump is doing so great and Biden is just trying to trick us into putting all of our money into false Green New Deal kind of parameters, and this trick against the Keystone pipeline is just it gets rid of jobs and it doesn't really help people directly. Well, wait a minute, there's a balance side to that. We need to move beyond fossil fuels. We need to move beyond fracking. We need to move beyond the dependence on that. Letting go of the Keystone Pipeline is a positive thing. There may be other financial players and chess pieces on the board, but notice that Pluto is still in Capricorn. We're still doing this deep dive, dredging up of any of those shadow aspects. Any of those shadow aspects within the masculine patriarchal domination ruling, just the mind, just look at the money, just look at what is in it for me. That whole kind of like egoic, unevolved side of Mars and Aries. We're balancing that out. And the other balancing point here is still the North Node in Gemini, right? Okay, so Gemini being ruled by Mercury. And here it is again, the other air signs. This doesn't show, but this is 18 degrees here. The moon's going to move forward and is going to align in a grand trine here later on, today, tomorrow, into 18 degrees. As soon as it hits an orb, how big of the orb do you want to make this? We will have a grand trine in air from the North Node, the direction we're heading, Gemini the mind, Gemini the intellectualism, Gemini the Mercury. What are we thinking about? What are we looking at? How are we communicating? The moon in Libra, how are we balancing out our emotional ability to come together and see both sides of the story? How are we working with each other from an empathic, compassionate, heart-centered perspective, and then coming into all these other planets here, this whole conglomeration going on here, moving from Capricorn into Aquarius. Now let's note here, one other thing in this, Chiron being an Aries, right? That goes back to that sense of healing the unevolved, warlike nature of Aries and Mars. The revolutionary, evolutionary change shifting from Aries into Taurus, into the feminine goddess aspects of Taurus and Venus, the support of this coming into the feminine within the masculine, healing these masculine aspects, healing these self aspects, self-identity wounds. Chiron and Aries is what that represents, is the self-identity wounds. Who am I and how do I fit in with this whole age of Aquarius, Jupiter structuring Saturn, group dynamics? How do I fit within the group dynamics? In opposition to 5 degrees right now, when I did this chart at 11:57, about noontime Pacific Standard Time, Aries and Chiron were exactly opposite. You don't see the line, but exactly opposite the moon in Libra. So we've got this going on here. Okay, so there's a tension here between self and other, but it can be a balance. If we go into the heart, if we go into the emotions, if we go into the feeling, if we go into the feminine, nourishing, nurturing energy, there's a balance here. And the masculine is bringing this healing. The masculine is the one, the active work that's happening. It's like the masculine has his hands out in front of the cosmic yoni, ready to catch the baby that's being birthed. Can you feel that? The masculine father is right here, ready to catch the baby that's being birthed. They're working together, they're working in tandem. Take a look at the positive aspects of what's going on here, even though there's tension, even though there's a potential, there's a pressure to evolve, there's a pressure to act, there's a pressure to make this leap, to make this transition, to bring this forward, to really work with the foundations that we put into Capricorn, the foundations that we purified and clarified, and bringing that forward. Okay, and I'll talk about that, the purifier, the red Kachina. The red Kachina is part of this. Okay, so let's look at really quickly. Here is the 13 sign chart. When we bring in Ophiuchus and Chiron as a 13th sign, we balance this out with the 13 moons, lunar cycle charts of the Mayan and the Dreamspell cosmology, astrology. Okay, so this has been a bridge and a way to merge those systems back together and to merge them forwards together. So anyone who's looking at this 13 sign chart, you're going to notice we've got all these planets in Capricorn. We have a stellium happening in Capricorn right now, which is what happened a month ago in 12 sign astrology. But according to this lunar cycle, the foundations are being laid now. The earthly foundations of Capricorn, all of this structural reorganization is happening now. Okay, so in this chart, based on where I placed it, where I live, Cohasset, California, which is in Northern California above Sacramento, the ascendant here this morning was in Taurus, so it's got a grand trine going on between the moon, the ascendant, and all these placements in Capricorn. So there's a grand trine in Earth happening here, according to this perspective. So we're still laying those goddess foundational structures. This is still the birthing of new Earth. And look at this really strong, straight through the middle of this grand trine, like an arrow. Chiron in Pisces in this system. Chiron healing our spiritual aspects, our connection with source, our connection with God, our connection with what it means to be the spiritual journey, spiritual awareness, to the moon, to our feelings, to our empathic connections. And in this system, the moon is in Virgo. Interesting, eh? So we still have this opposition, but in this system, Chiron and the moon are in Pisces and Virgo. Virgo being the Virgin. So this is very much a look at kind of a feminine perspective. right? So in Capricorn can also be very matriarchal. When we look at Capricorn and Saturn as the matriarchy, we're looking back at systems that were uh, based on earth-centered farming, earth-centered, food-centered production, community gardens, moving towards a no-till system in order to replenish the soil rather than depleting the soil. The mycorrhizal mycelium network beneath the earth, beneath the surface of the soil, has been disturbed by us thinking that we need to till our soil. We have been messing up the ecosystem for years. We're learning now that the no-till system leaves that mycorrhizal system, the network, the neural network of the plants and all of the roots, how they communicate with each other, is being allowed to regrow on a lot of the farmland. Hopefully that increases and more are able to understand what is necessary in order to replenish the soil so that our food is actually nourishing us and feeding us well. That would be this goddess-based system, Saturn and Capricorn, linked back to the matriarchal energy, not just the patriarchy. So in this system, we have a strong square still happening, going on. The planets are still where they are. But in this system, we've got Mars in Aries with Uranus, still back in Aries. So again, we have this strong square of Aries, the father matriarchal, patriarchal, Capricorn Saturn energy squaring off with the Aries child energy, the beginning, the reset. And it's interesting to note as we move into what's going on with the Mayan information, that in the Mayan Kin and the Mayan Tzolkin today on February 1st, 2021, we have 4 Kan, which is equivalent of yellow seed in the dream spell, but it is originally lizard, and it has to do with the earth, it has to do with farming, it has to do with business, it has to do with how we show up as humans. Our limbic system would be tied in here as well, right? It's the beginnings, it's the seeds we're planting. Okay, so, but if you look at this, it's 4-4, the 4th tone, 4th kin. And if you go back into the Tzolkin here, we're right here. Mayan cosmology, we're right here. We just restarted the Tzolkin cycles 4 days ago, 31st, 30th, 29th, 28th. On the 28th of January, we had a yellow cosmic sun, which is 13 Ahau, the sun in Mayan cosmology. We ended a Tzolkin cycle on January 28th. We've come forward and restarted it. 29th, 30th, 31st, February 1st. We're here now. So we're seeding 4-4 heart chakra energy. We're seeding, working with Kan, 4 Kan, and then the crocodile wave spell in the Mayan would be the crocodile, which represents water, the beginning, ancestry, rebirthing, restarting. That's where we're at in the Mayan Tzolkin. In the dream spell, we have red planetary moon, which this is what I was talking about information that came through yesterday about the red Kachina. What if the red Kachina is represented by Muluk, by red moon, by the goddess energy, by what's coming forward? That's really interesting. What if it's Mars? What if it's the red star of Mars? The red Kachina is meant to show up and show how people are disconnected from spirit. Those people who are here, who are disconnected from spirit, are getting purified. It is the purification, the purifier. That's what red moon represents. It represents purification, purification, flow, and universal water. So the purification through the waters. Interesting to note, back down here again, we are in the crocodile wave spell, the red dragon wave spell in the Mayan, in the real time Tzolkin. This is the real time. This is where we really are at. The dream spell was a recreated version of this, of the Tzolkin, back in 1984 by Jose Arjueles and Loidina Arjueles, and they received information by being at the temples, at the pyramids, at the Mayan structures, but they brought forward a system that is out of sync with the actual Mayan Tzolkin calendar. So if you go back here, in the Mayan calendar, we're here, we're at 4 seed, 4 Kan, right? Where's 10 moon? 10 moon's all the way up here, right here, Kin 49. From 4 to 49, we're 45 days off, out of sync. But there's a reason for these different systems of looking at this. When we look at this, we can still see the applications of this. We can still see that it fits. It fits with what's going on. So the purification, the flow of universal water, we just had a massive snowstorm here and lots of rain. We are so grateful for the rain showing up and providing us some nourishment and some purification and the quenching of these thirsty, thirsty lands in California that have seen so many fires in the last few years, right? So the purification of universal water linked up with the 10th tone of the planetary tone. Again, it's turning the moon, looking at the earth, the planetary tone. The key codes of this are: I perfect in order to purify, producing flow. I seal the process of universal water with the planetary tone of manifestation. I am guided by the power of navigation, which is red earth. So planetary red earth is the guide. So we have the navigation, connecting the dots to the synchronicity of red earth, recognizing the synchronous ways that things are all aligning and coming around for us to show us how spirit messages show up through connecting the dots, through the synchronicity. And that's on a personal and global level. The analog kin to red moon, which is ruled by Mercury, which just went retrograde, is always white dog. So we have a white planetary dog, which is 10-10. White planetary dog is in the same wave spell right here, 10-10, in the same wave spell as 4 Kan, 10 Ak. So in 6 days, we'll see the return of this, the flip mirror side of this in the Mayan Tzolkin. 10 moon, 10 dog, Ak, Muluk, and dog are always together. So our gift here is about the heart. Our gift here is about love, heart, and loyalty. How the, oh, sorry, there we go. How our heart-centered awareness, again, when we go back, this very strong focus on the moon, right, in what's going on here with Western astrology, very strong focus of the moon and Mercury going retrograde. These placements are reflecting in all systems. Love, heart, loyalty. How are we coming together in unity? How are we heart-centered, leading with the feminine emotions, the feminine intuition, the feminine awareness? Okay, so the analog of this is blue planetary storm. So the purification, producing and manifestation of the storm, which is self-generation of energy and catalyzation. This is always a catalyzation energy. It's an energy that stirs things up. It's an energy that revolutionizes. This is the thunder beings originally, Kawak. This is how things get shook up in order to ignite the energy within self, to bring it into the totality of the awareness of the whole. How each individual aspect within the neural network, which lightning also represents. Think about lightning strikes happening from between the earth and the sky, aligning all of the elements together, the lightning itself being fire. You have to have clouds and water to form, right? To have the lightning that strikes the earth. The lightning itself is fire. It's all the elements combined together to catalyze. So all the pieces, all the individual self pieces of generation of energy from the ionosphere, lightning strikes the earth. And it's actually, when you look at physics, it's the earth discharging energy up into the atmosphere. So it's actually happening the opposite way. It's Gaia releasing that energy and connecting to her own sphere, protective sphere, energetic sphere, magnetic sphere, electric sphere around herself, right? She does this through this feminine connection, this feminine awareness. The hidden helper of Red Moon is always yellow human. So because we have a 12 tone here, 12 and 4 always show up, or I'm sorry, 10 planetary, 10 and 4 always show up together. So this is a self-existing yellow human, which parallels here the 4, or would be self-existing yellow seed, 4 Kan, here in the Mayans. So we've got a beautiful parallel here with the 4s, heart-centered awareness here. So yellow human is wisdom, free will, and influence. So how are we as humans, through our emotional and intuitive feminine awareness, how are we assisting the earth, right? This is a very, very feminine kin here. How are we assisting the earth through our free will alignment with divine will, with higher will, in order to influence each other? Are we using wisdom in that? What is our wisdom? What is our greatest wisdom of how we can align and be aware of our influence on the planet? So let's take a look here. Again, yes, I'm just showing you here how yellow self-existing seed is where 4 Kan would become in the dream spell. I define in order to target measuring awareness. I seal the input of flowering with a self-existing tone of form. I'm guided by the power of universal fire. 4 Ahau is an incredibly powerful kin that has to do with the beginning of cycles. It has to do with the form and function of enlightened awareness, the sun within the self too. So that's a very powerful guide for 4 seed, 4 Kan, when you transition this into dream spell information. And note here again, like I said, the 4 and the 10 always show up together as occult kin, hidden helpers. You have planetary Earth. The guide of planetary red moon is the hidden helper of 4 Kan, yellow seed. So we have a beautiful alignment and synchronicity through red earth. Connect the dots. Any information that we brought forward in trying to recreate a system through the dream spell is reflected back to the ancestry, the beginning of it, the red dragon, the crocodile wave spell. seeded. It's seeded from our ancestors. This whole system, all of this information is brought forward because of the Tzolkin, because of the ancient wisdom of the Mayans, right? So the G-force of this would be a 13 Ak, the center of the Tzolkin. Look at that. Self-existing seed 4 Kan. When you add all of these kin together, bringing it into the dream spell, you get the center, the heart of the Tzolkin, which is right here, kin 130, 13 Ak, white cosmic dog. So that parallels the reflection with the red moon and white dog, right? Coming together. So last thing here, let's go to the unified kin. The unified kin, when you take 9 Muluk, 9 red moon, planetary red moon, and you add it to 4 Kan, yellow self-existing seed, you get a 13, 14, but you have to subtract 13. There's only 13 tones. So it brings it back to a 1. You get a 13-1. The unified kin today would be red Magnetic Skywalker, the beginning of the red Skywalker wave spell. I unify in order to explore, attracting wakefulness. I seal the output of space with the magnetic tone of purpose. I'm guided by my own power doubled. So we look at here that we have come into, here it is right here in the Tzolkin, red magnetic Skywalker, or Ben, 1 Ben in the Mayan Kin. This has to do with interdimensional awareness. It has to do with our ability to traverse the different planes of awareness. Red Skywalker Ben is about the alignment and the ability to psychically be attuned to the inner consciousness, the interconnection. It is people who hold this kin are really good at connecting with collective consciousness. That's their role. So we have these messages then coming through to explore wakefulness within space. I unify in order to explore, attracting wakefulness. I seal the output of space with a magnetic tone of purpose. I'm guided by my own power doubled. So in the dream spell kin, magnetic tones always have their own self as a guide. The analog gift is magnetic white world bridger, which is how red Skywalker walks between the worlds. These two buddy up. The white world bridger, life, death, life cycles, crossing the rainbow bridge, across the veils, communication across the veils, loved ones, deceased ones, in between life information can be found in these days. The analog or the antipod, what we are bringing forward to learn at this time is 1 blue night, magnetic blue night. So the ability to bring abundance, which is blue night, through our intuition and feminine guidance really is what blue night represents. It's the yin aspect, it's the night, it's the darkness, it's going deeper into that womb abundance, feminine energy ruled by Saturn. Red Skywalker and white world bridger are ruled by Mars. So here we have again this revolutionary information back to what's going on over here. Mars and Uranus conjunct either in Aries or in Taurus, depending on what system you're using, 12 sign zodiac system or 13 sign zodiac system. So Mars joining up with Uranus and this strong push to revolutionary evolutionary change. When we unify, when we come together, the focus is brought to that life, death, life cycle within the greater context of the whole. The occult kin of red magnetic Skywalker is a 13 Lamat, or yellow cosmic star, which would be the beauty, art, and elegance in the dream spell, the cosmic tone of enduring presence and transcendence. The 13th tone, always the end of the wave spell, on the opposite spectrum of the beginning of the wave spells. In the Mayan cosmology, it's rabbit, peace. Yellow stars hold a very peaceful space. They are the beauty way themselves, walking within that, bringing us into a sense of alignment with the flow of what it means to be within a peaceful existence. If you think about rabbits as being a focus on procreation, a focus on sexuality, a focus on children, a focus on the feminine, Venus aspects, the chalice itself, right? So when we go back here and we see that we've got this strong chalice happening here in all the feminine aspects, then Venus making the major move today, either into Capricorn in the 13 sign astrology or into Aquarius in the 12 sign astrology. Venus has the strongest energy today with this transit happening. So we're supported by that in the unified kin. We're supported by that. The hidden helper is that underlying energy, guides and guardians that show up that are from unexpected sources. So there you have it. That's what's happening from my perspective of the astrology today. It's a very, very powerful shift for the feminine, heart-centered energy, but with a mental, intellectual review and alignment with what all of this means to be stepping into the age of Aquarius on the 12th sign, or not quite there yet in the 13th sign charts. Still working on the foundation, still working on the birthing, still working on the alignment with the earth energies in the 13 sign charts. Thank you for watching. I will do my best to get these out more often. I know I've been really sporadic with it and I've missed some major shifts and changes. I appreciate those who continue to follow me and to show up for what flows through me, through spirit, for these messages. I appreciate all of the other astrologers that I'm connected to. There's several that I follow that I find are just absolutely brilliant right now. There's a lot of people doing astrological readings through tarot and oracle cards. Allison Hopkins is one of them. Check her out. The Mother Speaks Tarot. She's an amazing channel for spirit. She does astrological tarot readings. Also, Shayla Kumar, I've just connected with her. She does astrological tarot readings based on the 13 sign chart. She includes Ophiuchus, and she does her readings based on if you are within the 13 sign chart. For example, me, I'm normally in Aries, Sun, Moon, and Venus in 12 sign astrology with my Mars and Pisces. 13 sign, all of that moves back into Pisces, and I have all 4 Sun, Moon, Mars, and Venus in Pisces, connected to my south node, which in 12 sign is the bottom of a kite, but in 13 sign things shift a little bit and I no longer have a kite. So there are some differences in these systems, but it's all applicable. It all fits. And I believe that we have multiple channels of people bringing this information forward for a reason. Kaya Pacha is another one that I absolutely love to listen to and watch here on YouTube. He's based in this 12 sign astrology. Search him out, check him out. Also Gemini Brett, absolutely love him. He's on YouTube and on Facebook. Check him out. He does amazing astrological readings. One of the things that he had done recently was music, adding music into. He had a friend who played piano for the different astrology chart readings he was doing. He has these poems that he writes for charts that he reads for people. So, you know, this age of Aquarius is about us supporting each other. There's no longer this sense of competition, the feminine balance of everybody working together in relationship with each other, coming together and seeing all sides and all perspectives as valid and as good and needed. That really is the shift into the age of Aquarius, whether it's happening, you know, right now, or you know, in the 12 sign, or later in the 13 sign charts. All right, well, enjoy this Venus energy. I love you all. Namaste. Ahau. Have a beautiful day, night, evening, whatever it is for you at this time.